After the wedding, Baba returned to Meherabad. On the way, he kept mentioning Chhagan, which revealed how much he loved him. This is prose from Bauji. The beloved does everything for his lovers, and even if his lovers undergo the most torturing austerities and perform the severest penances for thousands of births in an attempt to repay his love, they can never do so. According to Baba's instructions, Chhagan had returned, but the events earlier in the day had left him emotionally shaken. Instead of coming back to Meherabad, Chhagan stayed in Irangon, where he stripped himself of his clothes and delivered them to the police, wearing only a lengati, a loincloth. He wandered into the fields, intent on committing suicide. You know, that is heard a lot with Baba Mandali in the early days. They were so...
Well, remember Jack Small.
What Jack Small?
You know Jack Small, the attorney that lives, the attorney...
Yeah, but what happened?
Jack Small swam into the ocean as far as he could and intent to commit suicide.
I didn't know this.
He swam out into the ocean. He said, Kennedy, I was trying to kill myself. He said, I swam until I got really, really tired. And then the more tired he got, the closer he got to dying, the farther out he got, the more Baba he saw. Then he got out there and started going down and changed his mind. And could barely make it back.
Oh my God. You could easily die in the ocean.
I know.
Jack Small, remember he was here?
I know.
He sang those songs.
Yeah, like Baba's by Meherabad.
When he first came to Baba, he wanted to take his life.
When I was playing for the Bulls,
He swam to the ocean. He swam out to the ocean as far as he can. He wanted just to get tired and sink. And then as he swam further, he saw Baba. He saw Baba and he said, no, I changed my mind. And he swam back, but he barely made it back because he was so tired. But that's... Oh, wow.
I'm scared of blood.
A few villagers followed Chhagan, and after an hour they brought him back to Irangon. Chhagan was persuaded to put his clothes back on, and he arrived in Meherabad at 8 o'clock that night. When Baba returned from Ahmednagar and heard that Chhagan had come, he sent for him and listened to his explanation. Chhagan said, I did nothing more than talk with my wife. Shanta complained that her parents and relatives were taunting her. She wishes to live with me and agrees to allow me to tread the spiritual path, and she will not force me to lead a family life. She too will live a simple spiritual life. Although pleased, Baba showed surprise to hear this and pardoned Chhagan, making him swear again to obey his instructions. Thus, despite the insults heaped on Baba, his disciple had returned to his position in the circle, and that was what the master was really concerned about. He didn't really care about the insults. During this period, Gadikar and his wife Yashoda came to live in Meherabad, where they both served as teachers in the schools. Baba had also given Gadikar orders not to touch his wife. See, when you lived in Meherabad, even though you were married, you could cohabitate, but Baba didn't want you to touch. Yeah.
That was probably just a temporary thing. I can't imagine it being a permanent.
I tell you, I don't know.
Maybe it was something.
And I think it probably...
What's the purpose of marriage?
Well, the point of it is, there's deeper spiritual connections.
Now, if you're married, think about it.
Well,
If you're going to be that deep into that, why get married?
But
you always can, live with another person, like a sister or brother.
Yeah.
well, I mean, you can still. Well, you still can.
I don't know.
You still can love. You can love probably on a level that's even loftier.
I guess that just doesn't. They've been just culturally disconnected on that one, huh?
Oh no! It's something that.
To me, that's the whole idea.
Well,
maybe I can see some sublimation taking place and some, that whole thing.
You
but
know,
on a permanent basis.
Well, you know what you said. It may have been specific orders for certain people.
Yeah, now that
maybe
makes
not
sense.
all couples would get that order. Maybe souls who were unwinding certain karmas.
Or even for a certain amount of time because
Right.
of internal stuff.
Yes.
I mean, those kind of adjustments make sense, but
Friend, Iraj had same story. Iraj told us one time. What was Iraj?
Said what?
He was married, going married with somebody, and then Khurshid. The name was Khurshid.
She
But Baba said,
wouldn't allow him.
Baba wanted, yeah. And then Baba said, if you can marry, go with her or with me. He went with the woman, he couldn't stay there. And he came to Baba, was okay, stay with me.
No,
Bring your
he
wife
didn't
to.
go to woman. He said,
He
I
said-
want to stay with
Yeah,
you.
but the woman came too, Khurshid. He
And
said,
then she came, she was persistent, and
Yeah.
then he says, and
Baba said, but just should not touch each other, just stay by each other.
he wants me.
If you want me, yeah.
Anyway,
I wonder if it was Shem Khurshid. Is it one of Shem Khurshid? Is it
No,
Meherabad?
no, it's not the
Different
same
portion,
portion,
huh?
it's different portion.
okay.
Jay Hayes told me that story one time.
Baba had given Gadika orders also not to touch his wife. His wife, Yashoda, would rise early in the morning and work all day. She was very devout. In obeying Baba's orders, she would recite his name many times in a small room where they lived. After 9 months, Yashoda fell seriously ill and died
She?
at Meherabad.
Chhagan.
The woman, no. This is a different couple.
Oh.
This is Gadika and Yashoda.
Yeah.
But you see how there probably was something going on there,
Sure there was.
and Baba knew that she was going to die, and he gave her a specific order, and so she worked on this.
So there wasn't any child or anything.
Exactly. And she died 9 months
Okay.
after their marriage. That's almost the time a child is born. So you want to read this?
Well, you know what happens? You remember that boy got hurt yesterday in the football game?
Oh, God.
Wait,
I was crying.
Wait, did you realize that some guy had a heart attack and actually died during the game?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Again?
Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's
Wait a
the
minute.
fourth one.
Wait a minute. Somebody died at the Detroit game?
Yes.
Yeah. In Detroit.
Oh, my God.
One of the fans had a heart attack.
16-year-old guy.
During-
Wow.
Did it happen after that man got hurt?
They didn't. Wait, well, see, that's what I mean. These events. It's like Baba says, well, okay, it's not time for you to go over here, but you come with me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like he's doing some internal things that are going on there, and I'm telling you, those internal things are bigger than the things we see.
Wow. That's so...
I know, because everybody thought the player was. I thought the guy was dead. You know, because they brought IV.
He wasn't breathing. They gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. His player... a person died in the stands, a fan, a spectator.
Oh,
Right,
spectator.
yeah, a spectator
The
did.
spectator died, he was 68 years old. He had a heart attack.
Yeah.
A player fractured his neck
Okay.
right here below
Oh,
his
my
skull.
God.
He was paralyzed and unconscious.
Yeah.
The players all broke down crying when they saw him. They thought he was going to die or be paralyzed for life.
Right,
But they did the surgery, I guess, this morning,
right.
and they say that within 3 months he has a chance maybe
Okay.
to start rehabilitation. And luckily it wasn't a break here. See, they say it's
Nice.
easier to attach it close to the head than it is down here.
Interesting.
That's what they said anyway. I don't know,
One of the players got hurt.
but still, it all depends. You know how it heals. The next 3 days, they said they're going to find out if it took.
Wow.
Anyway, okay, so
That's scary.
While touring India on a political campaign, Mahatma Gandhi was scheduled to visit Ahmednagar on
Wow.
February 12, and Chandji suggested that he be brought to Meherabad. Baba responded with indifference, dictating this statement. Why should efforts be particularly made only to bring Gandhi here? There is no necessity for it. He should come by himself, on his own, with love. In this path, only love counts, and love is the only qualification necessary to enter this line.
you know that's amazing. Because once I asked the mandali about bringing celebrity from like CBS or NBC to visit Meherabad,
Yes.
and they said something along the same line. Why can't they come
By
on their own,
by their
not just to
own.
be invited as like Gandhi, a celebrity or somebody? You know, Baba doesn't care about your celebrity status in the world.
Baba doesn't
You know.
care
That's
about
what Agnes
that.
used to say. People used to ask Agnes about doing a movie on her life because she was a reporter.
Yes.
And that's what she used to say. If you want to write the story, write it. But I'm not going to sit and tell you the story. So
I'm not going to do what?
Agnes
She
Barron.
wouldn't sit and tell the story.
Oh.
She said, if you want to write a story about me, I'm not going to tell you.
Exactly. And it reminds us the same theory. It's the whole, ego celebrity concept.
Whether one is an emperor or a king, no one can tread the path without love. A high material position or exalted status cannot help a person enter or progress on the spiritual path. It means that all the kings and the queens and all that,
Exactly.
if you don't have love, you don't go anywhere.
Exactly.
On February 13th, while discoursing about the mind, sanskaras and the matter in which they work, Baba explained, the process of spending old sanskaras or creating new ones applies to ordinary people, the masses of humanity. For those members of his circle, however, the Sadguru stops this creation of new sanskaras and gradually destroys the old ones. And when all the sanskaras are wiped away, realization is immediately given. Anyone likes to talk about that? The working of the minds of the members of Sadguru's circle is like a wheel turning in only one direction for the wiping off process. The working of the minds of other human beings is like a wheel turning first in one direction and then in the other, like the balance wheel of a watch or clock.
Wait. Say that again.
Let me finish it and then I will say. In short, the total destruction of sanskaras, old and new, enables one to be ready for realization. Let's read that again. The working of the minds of the members of a Sadguru's circle is like a wheel turning in only one direction for the wiping off process.
For the circle, the working of the wheel in one direction.
Okay, there is a Baba circle, so when any person of the Baba circle, they are thinking of something or their mind is working, the direction of that is like a wheel which is turning in one direction, which wipes off the process of sanskaras. But the working of the minds of other human beings is like a wheel turning first in one direction and then in another direction, like the balance wheel of a watch or clock. You see the pendulum is like boom, boom, boom.
So in other words, it's coming back and forth.
It's
In other words, they don't have someone taking away the sanskaras. They go back to one, come back again.
Yeah.
Good, bad, good, bad.
Good, bad.
Wow. So the grace of the master
can
takes
do-
you in one direction. You still have to go through the sanskaras, but it's like a process of a waterfall cascading down.
Right.
Eventually.
But then with a human being, the water is going back up.
Yeah, it's like the moment.
Yeah, it's going around. Oh man, that's great. I love that one. That's
See, here's what we should do, Fred. We need to write computer programs that all these different analogies, we can actually activate them. We've got the technology now that they didn't have the technology then, where we can make working models of all these different concepts.
Oh no, I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's,
No, definitely.
yeah.
In short, the total destruction of sanskaras, old and new, enables one to be ready for realizations. As far as realized beings are concerned, It is only those who come down after realization for duty to the universe who understand and realize the working of the world and the mind. So as far as realized beings are concerned, that's the beings which have already been realized, it is only those who come down after realization for duty to the universe who understand and realize the workings of the world and the mind. Compared to ordinary persons, it is the same as a child who is given a mirror. What does the child do? He looks into it and, being quite ignorant and unconscious of his own image, strikes the other face of the person in the mirror. Now, a grown-up adult whose senses are much more developed would never behave like that. He would see the image of his own face in the mirror and would realize and understand that the self-image is reflected only because of the mirror, and that the image is false and himself real existing. It is the same with those who are realized and have come back down to the world for the sake of duty to the universe. To them you are all like children. Baba drew a sketch portraying the manner in which the minds of ordinary people work in comparison to the mind of a perfect master's circle member. So it says turn, which sketch is that? I don't know. It says which minds of ordinary people work or turn in comparison to the minds of a perfect master circle's members. So Baba apparently drew something. On February 17, Baba batted 150 poor children at Upper Meherabad opposite the water reservoir, and he served them food with his own hands. 150. The mandali were served the same food and all returned to Lower Meherabad at 1 o'clock. Bahramji was responsible for the arrangement and complained to Baba that the mandali did not bring the materials from the program back down from the hill. So Baba gathered some items and carried them himself. Bahramji was mistaken. However, since some of the mandali had brought back some teams and were returning up the hill to bring the rest, Baba reprimanded Bahramji for his misjudgment. All the mandali awakened early on February 18th and took a bath at 4 o'clock. It was Baba's 33rd birthday. The gong rang and everyone gathered around Baba, who dished out rava, which is a sweet dish, along with 2 quinine tablets. Quinine tablets, I think it's for malaria. Baba later went to the women's quarters at the post office and was invited to sit in an improvised swing, which was rocked to and fro while the woman sang the song entitled Krishna's Cradle. How beautiful.
You know what's so beautiful too is those that have visited India, we have been to Upper Meherabad. in the same place where Baba fed
Yeah.
these people, we probably walked.
Yeah, opposite of the.
I mean, you know, right by the, you know, by Mansari's place.
Yeah.
I mean, so this touches my heart to know that Baba, and I mean, you know how much work probably has gone on in those spots anyway.
Or even the value of it, Fred.
Exactly. Just mind stopping.
Do you like to continue?
Yes.
When Baba came.
Okay. When Baba came out of the women's quarters, Rhea told him that he had seen Mahatma Gandhi walking toward Meherabad.
Wow.
Baba remarked, "His time has not yet come. He will not come here. If he comes, I will have to begin writing again and explain many things to him." Gandhi arrived in Ahmednagar for a political meeting and was taking his morning exercise walk on the road toward Meherabad. Nasuran Safa and Chinkokar were with him, and they explained to Gandhi about Meherabad.
So they walked that road. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You've been on that road, Fred?
Oh, I knew all of us have.
Not me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Everybody except for me is Fred. But I don't feel bad, though. Maybe I was there in another lifetime.
Do you get to go yet?
Oh, I think you're probably right about that. All right. Nasuran Safa and Chinkokar were with him, and they explained to Gandhi about Meher Baba, remarking that he was the chief disciple of Upasni Maharaj. Hearing Maharaj's name, Gandhi was taken aback, quickly changed the subject, and did not express any desire to meet Meher Baba. There was a reason why Gandhi avoided seeing Meher Baba. In 1923, as ordered by Baba, Rustam had mailed Gandhi a copy of Upasni Maharaj's biography, Protector of the Poor. After Gandhi read it, he went to Sakura to meet Maharaj. But the mannerisms of such a master as Upasni Maharaj were often mysterious and inexplicable. At the time, Maharaj was in a terrible Jalali mood, abusing those in his presence and anyone who approached him. Not knowing Maharaj's fiery temperament, Gandhi was shocked by his naked sadhu appearance and uninviting behavior. Baba later repeated that Gandhi's time had not yet come, so Nasuran should not be disappointed that he had not succeeded in bringing him to Meherabad. Meanwhile, to begin the birthday celebration, there was a ceremonial bath performed. Baba sat on a stool and allowed each of his followers to pour a cupful of warm water over him. After dressing in a kingly robe, Baba began giving darshan. Many people had come from the surrounding villages and from the city of Ahmednagar, and most brought flower garlands for him, which they placed one on top of the other on Baba. From the neck down, Baba's body was covered with flowers. An incident occurred which revealed the pain Meher Baba would endure at the hands of his lovers. One person unknowingly placed a garland of roses around Baba, which had several bees nesting in it.
Oh, bees were inside the flowers.
Yeah.
They put it around Baba. So what happened?
Wow.
After some time, the bees began stinging Baba, and his face turned bright red.
Oh,
Well done.
but he did not stop the darshan. That's kind of surprising when I read that. With a bee stinging you, most people are going to stop because this has been known to hurt.
He didn't stop.
Right. But he did not. All right. After some time, the bees began stinging Baba, and his face turned bright red, but he did not stop the darshan program and continued smiling as each person bowed to him.
Okay.
Someone cried out, "Look at Baba, what a glorious countenance he had."
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And he was being bitten by the bees. His face was turning red, and they thought he was...
Glorious, I know.
Is that funny or what?
Oh, boy, human beings.
Right, that's exactly right. His face is like a... Okay, I'll go with that whole sentence again. Someone cried out, "Look at Baba, what a glorious countenance he has.
Okay.
His face is like a shining sun." Another person remarked, "Baba's cheeks are like pink roses."
Oh, my God.
Only after the mandali removed the pile of garlands from his neck did they discover the swarm of bees.
Oh,
Baba ruefully gestured, "My face is swollen and red from the bees stinging, not because of divine radiance."
Okay.
Oh, my God. Oh, Baba. But he kept his total darshan composure. He let the darshan go on. Oh, Baba. But you know something? Those that saw his face are so privileged because probably...
By them come like a glorious.
No, but probably when his face got red, it was such a beautiful color, you know, compared to, you know what I'm saying? I really mean that.
Yeah, you're right.
It was so beautiful that, I mean, like the bees, like stimulated seeing this. Oh my God! It's almost, you know, it's poetic. This is almost could be. It's like poetic.
Yeah.
Like the bees went to the honey to seek. You know what I mean? Like the nectar.
It's part and parcel of the same. All of these kinds of things are united. If Baba is who he says he is, we must always remember nothing is an accident. The bees are there because he wants the bees there.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But he says, "What? Not a leaf moves without my will."
See, none of these things are disconnected. This, you know, sometimes I think people forget that, but anyway, that's my thing.
That's a beautiful. I mean, I'll always remember that. The bees and Baba.
I know.
Oh, it's beautiful to imagine his face.
Where is the bees? We go look at
Kathy, should I put a garland?
Yeah.
All right. Only after the mandali removed the pile of garlands from his neck did they discover the swarm of bees. Baba ruefully gestured, "My face is swollen and red from the bees' stings, not because of divine radiance. See what I must endure at the hands of my lovers? They always wish to garland me, and I permit it for the sake of their happiness. Yet how I suffer, such is my fare."
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful, Fred. How we doing on time? We're okay?
Oh,
All right.
at an hour.
Oh, all right.
45 minutes, anyway.
The closing celebration was on Meherabad Hill. A palanquin was decorated, and in the evening a procession was formed. What is a palanquin? Do you know?
There was this they discussed it. Well, they may describe it later.
Oh, okay.
They mentioned it a couple of weeks ago.
Is it like a stage?
I'm not sure.
What's
Okay.
that again?
A palanquin?
Well, why don't you read the context of the statement? Maybe we could discern
Figure it
what
out?
it is.
Okay. Well, just so you know, it's Palanquin. I've never seen the word. All right. The closing ceremony was on Meherabad Hill. A palanquin was decorated, and in the evening a procession was
Balcony.
formed.
Maybe it was balcony.
No, palanquin.
Balcony, ho.
Palanquin?
Well, you can balcony. Balcony is like a terrace, like a
Like
Well,
a stage.
well,
stage.
It could be. I mean, they may have set up a stage.
Balcony. Pellecani.
Pelican.
Yeah, Pellecani.
Oh.
The stairs.
Oh, is
All
it,
the
is that
stairs.
a stairs, a stage?
No, in پلنکوانه پلنکوان من نمیدونم چیه پالانکوان پلنکوان نمیدونم پلکان
Pelican میشه.
Maybe
I think
pelican, maybe
it's stairs.
stairs.
They're all stairs. Yeah.
Is it a stage?
پلکان
It's
I
stairs.
think I think it has something to do with.
It's a stage.
Balcony or stairs.
Well, we'll see. I think it's stairs or
It's
stage.
stairs is that, yeah.
Alright. Baba did not take his seat in the palanquin.
Oh, see, he didn't sit in the palace. I think it's like a covered area, like a little
Yeah, like an arch.
an arch with flowers and everything. And he said he didn't take his seat in the palanquin.
Ah.
Oh, in the palace
Yeah.
or on
In the palanquin. So I think it's like a little stage setting with decorations, and he didn't want to sit there.
Okay. Baba did not take his seat in the palanquin, but preferred to walk with the procession.
Oh no, I know what it is. You're carried. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
Four people carry.
it's like
2 years,
four people
yeah.
carried. Yes.
Right.
And he didn't want to go in it. He walked instead. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Ah, now we discern because he said he decided to walk instead.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
We got it.
Okay.
You
There
get
we
the
go.
things because the walk.
Right.
There, a Bhajan program was held, and Angal Pleader narrated stories from the Puranas. Baba later distributed prasad. At the fervent request of the crowd, Baba sat in the palanquin on the way down the hill as the celebration ended.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Meherabad J. Arani played a unique and special role in the Master's Circle.
That's Mera.
Yeah, I
That's the
didn't,
Baba's counterpart.
I didn't realize her last name was Arani, though.
Oh yeah.
Anyway. As a young woman with an unusually pure sensitivity and
By the
perspective,
way, today is Mera's birthday.
Today? Oh, dear.
So her name is mentioned. Let's pause for a second to think of her.
Her birthday today?
Yes. Thanks, Kennedy. So
it's actually capitalized.
so happy you mentioned her name because also I want to make another announcement. Richard Stummer and his wife, I forgot his wife's name, does anyone know?
His baby?
The baby was born,
Wow.
a baby girl named Sophia.
Okay.
Yesterday, 7.5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Sophia.
Sophia, all
And her
right.
name is Maria.
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 Yeah. And so I heard that through Jeff McGuire's wife, Lynn.
All right.
Born yesterday.
Okay, good.
I forgot the time, but
Sunday.
born 21st. Well, the 21st is the first day of winter, the winter solstice.
Last time we went to party.
That's a really big day.
دیشب شب یلدا بود آخه.
But anyway, so that's probably why the Stormers aren't here.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Right.
Baba's
Rejoice.
birthday. I mean, Meherabad.
Yes, that's
Ah.
right.
Yeah.
So they'll always remember that. Sophia.
Sophia.
Beautiful name.
Beautiful.
It's true.
Ah.
Just said we call it Sufi. Yeah, that was, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Meherabad J. Arani played a unique and special role in the Master's Circle. As a young woman with an unusually pure sensitivity and perspective, Meherabad was fond of reading and had brought a few novels with her when she came to live at Meherabad. During this period, however, Baba prohibited her from reading or writing anything, so Meherabad packed up all her books and sent them to the Ahmednagar library. Baba's order was so strict that labels on bottles and tin cans had to be covered with pieces of blank paper to prevent her from accidentally reading them. Tell me, Fred, these are some powerful notes here. This is stuff I never knew. But anyway, I'm sorry.
In other words,
I had to put my little 2 cents in.
Baba would cover anything that he didn't want her to read, like a bottle with a name or
Yes, bottles and cans.
bottles and cans, a brand name or
Anything readable.
anything readable. That's right. She
Anything
wasn't to
readable.
read anything because she liked reading. You know, I mean, this is sort of far-fetched. I'd like to go to the Ahmednagar library and ask if they have any old books. They could be Mara's books, but I doubt. But that's from the 20s, 27.
Why is it far-fetched? That's why
You think
we
they'd
live.
still be there? That's 70 years ago.
That's why we live, because this is the type of far-fetchedness we have to ambition for. We live for in our lives. That's not far-fetched, Fred. You should do it.
Try to find her books.
Of course.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
I think it's an excellent idea.
Mara's books he
I know.
donated may be at the Ahmednagar library,
Oh, we go look.
but it's 70 years ago.
They keep it. They keep
But do
it.
you think the paper's bad?
It depends on how. Sometimes if you pack books tight enough, they won't
Well,
be
it
around
depends
at all.
how you,
We have
Yeah.
Quran for 500 years ago. Quran, our holy book.
It was how?
Yeah, it's just all yellow. Has the Ali نوشته بود. 500, more than 500. The paper all yellow, but kept it slowly. You cannot even touch it.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
was tears
amazing.
apart.
See that? That's I
Disintegrate.
never ever heard that before.
Me either.
I didn't know she donated the
Disintegrate.
books. And
Disintegrate.
so Baba then would cover anything they
Here's
had
the
writing
duck.
on. Wow.
Get strict orders.
So then when she traveled, she probably was not allowed to read signs on the road, billboards.
Well, let's.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
Wow.
anyway, let's see.
That's interesting. Okay.
Well, anyway.
She was also ordered not to talk with, look at, or touch any man other than Baba.
Wow.
Not to talk,
Touch.
look. Not to talk,
And
look,
and touch.
or touch. In other words, if some man comes, she does not look.
Uh-huh.
She does not look.
Because was holy person should be cute, plain.
I didn't know that. I didn't know she could even not look.
This-
So that's why the men never saw her until Baba dropped his
Yeah,
body.
yeah.
When he dropped his body, then I think they were allowed to come, or just before he dropped his body. There was some event, well, we'll find out
Before
later
they
on.
dropped the body,
That's
Dara's
right.
wedding, they said, they came on the
Before?
balcony, yeah. Before.
Then
One time before.
they saw her for the first
Yeah,
time after,
yeah, one time before.
after 40 years or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's some interesting notes I was reading in Stay with God on the Master's consort. There's an idea that she and he are so close that he, in fact, they are not actually two people, but the energy that the avatar has is coming through her. So there's some stuff
I
going
think-
on there that people,
That is, what you just said is absolutely correct.
you know,
There's a plus and a minus energy, but it's the energy that goes through electricity. The one is the plus and the other is the minus, but it's the same current. And like the male, female. But Mera was the female counterpart of
Yeah.
Baba.
Uh-huh.
So literally she was Baba, but she was in female form.
exactly. It's
So it's the same divinity coming through.
Yeah.
So Baba, I had the blessing to meet Mera.
Yeah, me too.
You know, Fred, I'm really glad you do this. I am one of the people
I'm
that
blessed
you
you
say,
kiss me out
I'm
too.
really glad you
You.
have these meetings. You know, just,
Can I
just
tell
so
you,
know.
can I tell you all honesty, these meetings have helped my life.
They've helped mine too, Fred.
Because sometimes when you go through hard times in your world, and if you don't have something to really grip on,
Yeah.
you can really become down. But these meetings give me strength to realize what's
Yeah.
going on out here is so
Yeah.
so minor. You know, the greatest things are to know about Baba and his life, which makes you grow in Baba.
See, there's certain
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
certain things that you've said. You said that to me before.
Yeah.
Only when you said it to me a couple of years ago, I didn't get it. But there's some things started to happen to me within the last year. You know, and so so sometimes I'm a little bit behind you on those things, but eventually I do catch up.
So I love these meetings. I mean, so happy that, you know.
I'm happy too. They're good. They're good for me too, Fred. I mean, you know, I hate to be really selfish like that, but
No, that's one.
you know, what can I say?
That's why they're good.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. The master went to Shahani's house in Ahmednagar on February 19th, and someone asked him when he would break his silence. Baba surprised everybody by replying, "I will speak in 5 days." And he even directed Ghani to note this down. One follower of the Masters was Shadashev M. Borkar, who was the chairman of the National School of Ahmednagar. Once Borkar shared with the mandali, "I have meditated for 25 years and have gained nothing, but by being at Meherabad's feet, I have had some experiences." Borkar was very interested in the plan of opening a high school in Meherabad and was assisting with the project. Meanwhile, Rustam had several borings drilled for a well at Meherabad, but still no plentiful water was found. Baba cryptically remarked to him, "I hold the key to the world, but the duty of supplying water here is assigned to an agent."
Sounds agent.
Spiritual agent. So in other words, somebody had a role and a responsibility.
Baba then directed him to drill to a depth of 100 feet, and if water was not struck, then he should try at a different spot.
Oh, so maybe he's the agent, the guy doing the drilling. That's what he was referring to.
Not really.
No.
It
Well,
can be just a spiritual agent.
what can we see? Find out. Yeah.
On February 22nd, Baba asked the mandali, "What is the worst prison you can think of?" Some replied, "Sabarmati in Gujarat." Others said, "Visapur prison in Ahmednagar," while others said, "Yerabda in Pune." Baba smiled and then remarked,
He said the worst prison? He's asking his mandali. God, what a question. So what did Baba say?
"The human body is the worst prison on earth."
Worst what?
The human body.
Human body
Worst what? Worst
is the worst prison
Prison.
on earth.
In other words, Baba asked his mandali, name a prison that you feel is the worst. One named one in Pune, one named one in
Ahmad.
Ahmednagar, another. In other words, they thought prison,
I know.
And then Baba said the worst prison is the body trapped.
Yep.
Right. Later, commenting on religion, Meher Baba stated, "The Hindu and Muslim priests both speak against each other's religion, but do not know what religion is. Religion is a cage, and the people who follow it are all birds locked up inside. It is meaningless to leave one's religion to adopt another. It is like going from one cage to another. The wire binding the wings of the bird must be cut."
What wire? What?
The wire.
Wire.
Binding the wings. In other words, a bird that flies, you put a wire, like when a chicken is caught, they put a wire to keep them from flying. And that's like when we...
You have to cut the fly.
We can't fly.
Free.
And so if you leave Muslim, become Christian, Hindu, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
You're going from one cage to another cage. So that's why Baba always said, don't try to change somebody's religion. Because religion is still a cage. Wow, this is lovely.
Oh, there's some more to that even. I pretend you recognize. Each person must make individual efforts to sever his own leash. For example, by a renunciation or by being indifferent to food and drink. I didn't get that. Let me read that again. Each person must make individual efforts to sever his own leash. For example, by renunciation or being indifferent to food and drink.
In other words...
Everybody has their own taste.
No, in other words, no. What Baba says is, by renunciation of the world, or another one is by being indifferent to whether somebody offers you food or drink, or you crave it. You just say, I don't care if I eat or not. You see, that's a way of detachment.
I understand.
You see.
And even attachment. Food and drink bind like
Oh, yes.
religion does.
Yes, food
That's
and
what he's
drink.
talking about.
Food and drink are just as much binding as religion. Because you think, oh, I need
Right.
If you just say, if I get food, I get food.
You're
if I
right.
don't,
You're right.
I don't get food.
You're right. Yeah.
Because it's because we know we're not going to be here forever.
I know.
We've gone to funerals. We put people in the ground. You know,
But
they were
happy.
eating.
I know that.
But they died, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't.
That's exactly
It's
right.
this attachment.
Right.
That's a very good
Interesting.
lesson for us all.
But above all, efforts should be made to cut the cord through love. Love God, for when the Sadguru comes, he snaps the cord and frees the bird.
You see, the Sadguru can do that. If you follow just a straight master,
Like us.
a regular master can't free you like that. You got to go through many lifetimes.
Right.
But the Bhavatar, Sadguru, or a perfect master can do that.
Perfect master.
Meherabad concluded, I am the Christ, and the world exists because of me. For me, there is no time, space, cause, effect, duality, or anything that exists besides me. There is only unity. What's that? At Walker's invitation on February 26th, Baba visited the National School in Ahmednagar with several of the mandali, and he was warmly received. At this time, Walker announced the opening of the Meher Ashram School. In the welcome address, he stated, in the very near future, a boarding house will be opened in the holy place of Meherabad where children will be provided with free food and clothes. This establishment will be called Meher Ashram. The children kept there will also be given the best possible education. But the highest benefit to the children will be that of having the sacred company of Sri Sadguru Meher Baba, the significance of which is beyond our comprehension. A primary school for the villagers and the few children staying at Meherabad was reopened on March the 1st in the mess quarters. Daki was appointed principal, Chanji vice principal, and Mehendarsh, Nisal, Vishnu, and a man named Gaikwad were assigned by Baba to be teachers. After a week, Nisal was transferred to the National School in Ahmednagar, and Chhagan was appointed to take his place. Shanji, Vishnu, and Chhagan, being members of the mandali, were not paid, but the other teachers were given wages. Now, I've got an asterisk here, Fred.
Yeah, that's a footnote on the page in the back.
Which volume is that? Which volume? Lord
3.
Mayor, volume 3.
What page?
Okay. Oops.
Where's Gigi tonight?
She wanted to rest.
Want to come.
Cold outside.
Last night, also.
The school at Meherabad was gradually expanded and taught all levels equivalent to grammar and high school.
My, I didn't know in high school too.
I didn't know that either. That's a major event.
But you know something, I was just thinking, if we could focus ourselves in our Los Angeles community into some project like they did in Meherabad, you see how he said, we're going to teach the children, you know, a spiritual background and also other kind of things, curriculum, mathematics, and academic education also. But can you imagine that focus, how you have something to really focus your energies on, the school and the care for the children, the food for the children, clothes or whatever they provided.
About Baba.
He's talking about selflessness.
It's not to give them toys or feed
Yeah,
them.
in other words,
like
a good spiritual
spiritual
education
educational.
about the truths of the soul, about
They don't, yeah.
the love and consciousness that exists, and a universal-like teaching. Can you imagine the fortunate students at Meherabad? Wow.
Can you imagine our baby 9 months old say about Baba's picture and Chanel? What he does? She does. Look at.
Yeah, she makes noise.
Like that.
Yeah.
Only Baba picture in the house. Only Baba.
That's wonderful.
So look to Baba.
Yeah, she keeps staring at Baba's picture.
Like that?
Yeah.
Well, you know something? She probably sees Baba in a
She
way.
sees.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
We
Somehow
don't see them.
she sees him how in her own way.
She goes
Children see the
underneath.
light, the purity.
You know, she don't know anybody. She doesn't say anything. She's just very curious, but she hides away from the people. Only the people that she knows. But she's Baba's picture on a wall, and she makes that noise. I pick her up and I go there. She touches her with her hands.
Wow,
So that's
she's
the Baba.
seeing something.
Yeah.
She's seeing.
And they had the other day company, they asked them what about religion.
Yeah.
The father said, my grandfather was Jewish like that, my daughter was Christian, the father said. And my wife is Muslim. They asked, how's your baby? And the father said, she's Baba lover. Yeah, I had to look at each other. Yeah, but what's Baba? The people asked, French people. They said, Meherabad, the father said. She's Baba lover. But
That's
I am,
lovely.
yeah, she went
That's
to Baba.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The father says, "What kind of religion has she?" Oh, she says she's a Baba
So Baba
lover.
lover.
That's lovely.
I don't know what that is. And so we have to do explaining. You know what I
He was,
mean?
you know, a joke, no? He was
Yeah,
serious.
the couple, one's a Muslim, the other one's a Jewish.
Uh-huh.
The woman's a Jewish
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the man's a Muslim.
Uh-huh.
But the kids are brought up as Jewish.
But he said, why is Baba lover?
It's terrific.
Yeah.
That's lovely because the children of tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're going to be our Bible lovers.
Yeah. Oh.
They might even be our parents. I like that too. Anyway, on March 7th, Chanji brought all his relatives from Pune to Meherabad. Chanji's brother, Naroji H. Dada Chanji, had taken a contract to build a boys' hostel for Parsis in Pune, and had been living there with his family for some time. Naroji's family consisted of his wife, Bakamai, 3 daughters, Anavaz, Nargis,
Nargis.
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 Nargis means narcissus flower. Narcissus. You say narcissus flower. Nargis we say.
and Rhoda. I can handle Rhoda. Okay. And the 4-month-old son, Tehemtan.
The Hampton. Oh.
With them, they brought a rather reluctant young relative who lived in their same compound in Pune. His name was Meherji Ardeshir Karkaria.
That's Meherji. Meherji.
Meherji had been induced to come with them on a picnic to Ahmednagar. When the Dada Chanji family reached Meherabad, they were deeply moved by the radiance and glowing features of the master at their first sight of him. His face was unlike any other. It belonged to some divine heavenly being. His eyes were unlike any others, so penetrating, seeing the heart's very core. The Dada Chanji family were Parsis from Bombay, and though it was not customary for them as Zoroastrians, they offered Baba homage by touching his feet. But Meherji, the son of a Parsi priest in Navsari, folded his hands in salutation from a distance. After Baba inquired about each one's health, he gestured to Meherji and asked, "What do you do?" He replied that he was studying science and engineering. Baba inquired further, "What will you do when you finish?" Meherji replied that he would obtain his Bachelor's of Science degree. Baba smiled and asked, "Why don't you come to my school and work as a teacher?" Meherji did not seem happy with this, so Baba added, all right, appear in the exam, but if you fail, come back. Meherji did not say anything. Baba had been gauging at Tihemtam, and the boy took the boy in his arms and kissed him for a long time. From that day onward, the Dada Chanji family began being absorbed in the Master's divine love. In the evening, Naroji, with his family and Meherji, left. Excuse me. Since his return from Bombay at the end of 1926, Baba had been staying in the Jyoti at Lower Meherabad. But from March 9th, 1927, he began spending the night in the table cabin near the Duni. The hand mill was fixed outside its entrance, and he again began grinding corn for a few hours each day. When Baba changed his seat to the table cabin, he cryptically remarked to the mandali, I will stay here for... I'm sorry, I'm reading this ahead of what I'm thinking, I'm sorry. All right. When Baba changed his seat to the table cabin, he cryptically remarked to the mandali, I will stay here for 1,200 years. As Baba was grinding corn 2 days later.
You know something? That can be a secret.
I know.
We just uncovered. You know the table house in Meherabad? You know the table house with the cover and the screen?
Yeah.
Baba would sit not inside the part that's screened off and grind corn. And he said, I will be here in this area, table house, for 1,200 years.
You say Meherabad, that came out, I
That's
never know.
Meherabad.
You know the table house?
Wait.
By the Jopti. You know the Jopti?
میزه هستش که بابا میرفته توش کوچولو بوده قایم میشده که کتاب مینوشته
It was like a mash?
No, the small table house. It looks like almost for...
It's the lower side?
Yeah, it's right by near the volleyball court. It's the volleyball court, you walk about...
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yes, Baba wrote the book inside.
You are right, I know that.
It's only about...
I know,
yeah. Like a cage?
Yeah, like a cage.
Oh, yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, the mesh.
Yeah.
He'd come outside, he'd go inside, then he'd come out and sit where the mesh is, and that's where he'd grind the corn.
Oh.
And then he'd go back, but he'd grind the corn for a couple hours a day. But he made the statement, he says, I will be here for 1,200 years. So basically what that means is maybe his next advent is not coming in from...
That's what I was thinking about when my mind's eye caught
because they usually say the advents are 700 to 1,400 years apart. So it means he's going to go for the second cycle. Then maybe another...
I mean, in another time, Baba had mentioned that I'm going to come in 700 years.
I know, he said 700 now, he said 1,200.
He could possibly change that though, because what happens is if it depends on the mental and material conditions of the earth, if things are changing during his advent as current avatar, then he could adapt it. In other words, he may say 1,200 today, but then because it changes, it could be 700. Or he could have said 700 before, but because things changed during the advent.
Why he changed it?
I'm not the avatar. You gotta, you know, you gotta go.
That's the guy over here.
Because I'm hoping he's only 700 yet.
Well, what Werner said makes sense too. Baba's presence may be felt in that table house or in that vicinity for 1,200 years.
Oh, no doubt.
Even though there could be another advent of someone else. Because just like people go to the Holy Land in Jerusalem.
And they still feel Baba's presence there.
Yes, and they still feel
Look
it.
what happened
Or they go to Medina or Mecca. I mean, they feel presence even though you follow me.
Sure.
I mean, the shifting of the hierarchies in Meherabad But people still go to Jerusalem and they still go to Mecca.
But Baba came after 1400 years after Mecca. So that means it's a new
Cycle.
But if the next avatar will come in 700 years, then still Meherabad has persisted
another 500 years yet.
Another 500
years, even
we
though
have the energy of avataric period.
Yes, see.
Besides the new
the new one. See, the new one can come in 700, but that would still leave 500 more years of Baba's essence of this advent in Meherabad.
What happened? Today he and me argued a little bit in the car about driving, but he told me something happened, and I said, okay, you did learn, but I forgive you. I get so mad, Baba came inside me immediately. I said, I am God, like a God, I forgive you. And I said, okay, God, I'm hungry. Give me something to eat. But I said, back after the car, when we were coming from grocery, was full of food, I gave it to him.
So God is giving, God is
No, he said, Avatar. God said to him, pass to God. I said, you're Avatar, to get it in. And God said, that now the pass your Avatar to the God, to me.
I said, okay, God, I said, how about something to eat? Oh, we're on the road for about 5 or 6 hours. I was getting hungry. You know what I mean?
He was a big apple. So yeah, my God.
You're funny guy. You're funny.
They're both funny. What do you mean? Gus is just as bad.
Yeah. No, it's Avatar here is real God. You see them is real now. Yeah?
Alrighty. Yeah. As Baba was grinding corn 2 days later, the pen of the handmill came off.
Oh.
Baba remarked, "This is my fate. It is just my luck." But soon the peg was repositioned and the mill was fixed. A discussion took place later that day, March 11th, about the future of Meher Ashram School, and the mandali were taken aback by Baba's statement. Neither worldly learning nor the ideal of universal love has any importance. He then clarified what he meant. I want to impart spiritual education, which is obtained without any study. I will make the school the medium for this. Mandali, a dog which had been given by Upasi Maharaj from Sokori, would often be found sitting by Baba's feet. When the gong was struck for lunch, he would be the first to come running, and during the singing of the evening Adi, Mandali would be present. But on March 14th, the dog was crushed under the wheels of a truck passing by and on the road near the door.
You know what mean Madari? It's a cycle of life. Circle of life. Madari.
He was buried in Baba's presence. Baba later revealed to the mandali, Mandali was very lucky. He will be born as a human being in his next form.
Wow.
The loud gong was not only rung to announce meals, but would also be struck to summon the mandali whenever Baba wished. He would often call them during the day, and they would have to stop everything and go to him at once. On occasion, Baba would announce, "Tonight I want a skit, and make sure it's funny." Or sometimes he would summon them to play cricket or soccer. Hey Fred, here, read this. But wait till I get back though. I gotta go to the...
You want to read that?
Yes.
Where you leave off?
Top of the page.
Top of the page where the bookmark is. You're going, okay.
We shall wait for him.
Baba. See you Christmas Day at Lois, huh? You going to Lois or not?
Yes.
You know what? I did call Louis to respond, but it's okay. I should call Louis. She said everybody had to called, you are coming or
You
no?
didn't get one?
I got the invitation, but I didn't call her. It's okay, I think.
I don't think you, well, yeah, maybe.
She knows me, well, she came
Oh,
here.
yeah, I think,
Okay.
well, you should maybe if you want.
Should she invited Heidi and her husband and baby too?
Oh, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Salam bir sabah.
So shall I read without Kennedy?
Yeah, go ahead and start this.
Okay. A wandering sannyasi named Narayan had been staying under a tree in Meherabad for the previous 2 weeks, reciting the name of God according to Baba's instructions. He was eager for God realization, and Baba assured him that if he obeyed him, he would attain it. On March 16, as Narayan was eating lunch, he overheard the mandali conversation in the adjoining room. One of them was grumbling, "Drinking our own blood for the past 5 years has not shown us even a glimpse of God. How can a sannyasi expect to experience God within 6 months? He will have to learn the hard way." Hearing this, the sannyasi began having second thoughts about Baba without telling anyone. He slipped away and was never heard of again. The same day in the afternoon, 2 more sannyasis arrived at Meherabad and were allowed to stay for a few days. Thursday, 17th of March, was the Hindu festival of Holi, that means fire, and a throng of people gathered for Baba's darshan. In the evening, a shallow pit was dug for the duty, which was then lighted. Afterward, Atya Partiya was played, whatever that is, I don't know. As the mandali did not seem to be played seriously, Baba remarked, "Whatever you do it with all your heart. Put your whole heart into it, whether it is a game or work." On March 18, Rustam moved from Meherabad back to Ahmednagar to be with his wife and children at Kushru quarters. Baba advised him to come regularly to Meherabad, and he began visiting from the next day, usually bringing his family with him. And the following day, a broker came to see Baba, and a long conversation ensued between them. Borkar was ready to conduct the Mehr Ashram in Ahmednagar according to the guidelines given by Baba. Baba recommended to Borkar that if Nusharwan Sata would be persuaded to leave politics, he should be made his assistant. With 18 of the mandali, Baba went to Ahmednagar on March 20th and visited a devotee named Raya. At Raya's house, Baba's arti was performed. The literary scholar Sohrab Desai of Navasari came there to see Baba and was deeply moved to be in the Master's presence again. He had brought his nephew, Menu Behram Desai, to meet Baba. Later, Baba visited the homes of Bao Shaheb, Wanjari, Daki, and Kanahoba Gedakar, going last to Shuru waters before returning to Meherabad. March 25th was Jamshed e Navoros and the Irani and Parsi holiday. Baba was bathed and worshipped, and then Dari was sung. While walking behind Baba, Shorab Desai was in the habit of collecting the dust under his feet. But as he was doing it, he thought that he must look ridiculous to the others. Baba stopped and remarked to Sohar, "The significance of the dust on the Master's feet is beyond one's imagination. Like the dust which is being trampled upon does not complain. So the one who remains under my feet will rise to the zenith. Your arrogance, your conceit, and your pride are to be turned into dust, and then alone will your dust be seen in its full brilliance." Baba's word made Sohrab stick. Let me see, how do you pronounce that?
Ecstatic.
Aesthetic, yeah. The wish to have a photograph of the masters arose him, but he was too shy to ask for one. Without his asking, Baba lovingly handed him a photograph, thus firmly convincing Sohrab of the master's omniscience. Sohrab fell to the ground and prostrated himself before Baba while bowed at Baba's feet. He uttered these poetic words with tears in his eyes and a heart overflowing with love. O omniscience one, the omniscience, science.
Omniscient. Oh, omniscient.
O omniscience one, the glory of God is in you. May my life pass in your remembrance. At the end, may I become one with you. The glory of God is you. God's glory is all yours. Baba gestured, it shall be as you wish, I promise you. Thus he assured Sohrab that he would always be with him. Sohrab then told Baba about his friend, the Zoroastrian priest named Kaikobad Dastur, whom he said was a sincere seeker of truth. Baba remarked, Kaikobad will soon come to me. That night, a funny skit was enacted by Behramji, Daki, Padri, Pendu, Rustam, and Sailor, with all residents enjoyed. When Baba had visited Ahmednagar on February 26th, he elected a plot of land near the cotton market for the Mir Ashram. Then a proposal was discussed to open the boarding school at Meherabad. Instead, though, Borker preferred Ahmednagar. On March 25th, it was finally decided to locate the Mir Ashram school at Meherabad, because of the children would then have the benefit of Baba's constant companionship. The following appointments were made. Borker was to be in charge of Mir Ashram. Drake was to be the principal and head of the educational department. Behramji was to manage the boarding and lodging departments, and Vishnu was to serve as Daki's and Behramaji's assistant. The existing school in the mess quarters would be shifted to the family quarters, and the Mir Ashram would then be located in its place. A new residence for the mandali who had been staying in the mess quarters would be built near the well and Duni. Baba concluded, many graduate teachers will come to serve in Mir Ashram. If anyone from the mandali hesitates or expresses unwillingness to do any of the work, he will be freed from duty, in which case he will be given food twice a day without being assigned any work. Rustam was busy buying building materials to erect a grand structure for the school. But it was now decided to house the school in the mess quarters. Baba sent Padri to Ahmednagar to inform Rustam to stop at the plan was cancelled. During the period of discussions of Mir Ashram, many people came into Master's contact. The proposed opening of the school in Ahmednagar brought Borker and Nusirwan Sata especially close to him. Baba's method of working was marvelous. Public notification about the new institution brought applications from several teachers. Baba indicated that before calling anyone for an interview, the applicant should be sent a list of the rules and regulations to be followed. There were already 6 students living at Meherabad: Babu and Murli, Kali, Datu, Yahwad, and Meher Darj, son of one of the teachers. Vital H. Irani, that's Pilami's son, Baba, Shahani, and one more boy. Zarathustra's birthday was observed on March 26th. Later that day, Baba ordered each of the mandali to remind him to attend the wedding the following day of the former policeman's daughter. The man had come to Meherabad especially to invite Baba a few days before. The man's story is very touching. Once a man of strong physique as a policeman, he had fallen ill and developed leprosy. Afterwards, he fell into great financial trouble. seeking help in his dire situation, he had pleaded to the Shankar Acharya, and head priest of the Hindus, and to Mahatma Gandhi, but he found no help from either of them. Out of final desperation, he came to see Meherabad. He explained that his daughter was of marriageable age, but that it was extremely difficult to find a man willing to marry a daughter of a leper. Baba's compassion was shown as he helped to arrange her wedding and gave money for a dowry. The next day, the mandali reminded Baba about the wedding. And with six men, Baba went to Ahmednagar to attend the ceremony. The policeman was deeply moved by seeing Baba, and the marriage was joyfully performed before him. The poor man cried out, "O Lord, only your grace has brought about this happy event. Otherwise, who would have married the daughter of a leper?" Baba replied, "In your ugly cage resides a beautiful soul. Only I can see its beauty, and without worrying over your condition, you too should try to see it. You have nothing to fear." After the ceremony, he and the mandali departed. In late March, a young sadhu wandered into Meherabad and approached Baba, begging for money to go to Hardwar. Baba took a special interest in him and gave him this discourse. The meaning of sadhu is one who prefers spiritual practices with the object of controlling the mind. But since you are unable to keep your mind under control, what do you expect to gain by going to Hardwar? If you want to go into Himalayas overpowered with love of God, then go on foot, enduring hardship for the sake of realizing God. This will be your sadhana, spiritual practice, and thereby you will be able to conquer your mind from its thoughts of worldly allurements. A sadhu should always try to be above desires of any sort. There is no easier way for attaining God realization than satsang, the contact with or company of saints and masters. As for my circle members, there are no fears in them or worry about realization, for the clock is wound and the alarm is set. When the time comes, it will ring automatically. Let the clock be here or there, but why move it? Continue doing satsang and contact the true masters. What is when the time comes within a second, all will be light. Wait, just wait and be patient.
Okay, it's enough, huh? No?
No, I'll finish the rest of it. Baba's words, "Why move the clock?" meant why go there, here and there, wondering about seeing a guru or God. During this period, Anna, one of four, claimed that Anna, one of four, what does that mean? During Anna, one of four, claimed that his leg had been miraculously healed by the master. Anna began declaring to many of the local people that by repeating the name of Meherabad and by applying the juice of neem leaves on his leg, his deep wound was completely healed. One day, Anna brought two afflicted women to Baba. One woman was lame and had been suffering for many months. She fell at Baba's feet and he confronted her. "Your disease has fallen at my feet." The next day, she was able to walk quite naturally again and confessed to Anna that he had taken her to a true master.
Wow. Enough. I seem to get tired, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll read for another 15 minutes and then we'll call it. The other woman was in deep financial straits, but her problems were settled in a short time after having Baba's darshan. However, after some time, Baba discouraged Anna from bringing people to him who were seeking miracles, explaining that performing miracles was the work of saints, but not his work. On March 30th, Baramji complained to Baba that Padre was locking himself in his room and playing chess. At that time, Padre, like Gustaji and Brother Jal, had been exempted from the responsibilities in binding agreements which the other mandali were subject to.
But Padre also went so far as to forbid anyone else besides Jal and Gustaji to enter his room. Baba was upset by Padre doing this and admonished the mandali, "Don't show disrespect to this holy place and its Lord. To bring all of you around, I will have to closet myself inside for several days, leaving you to your own devices. Then I will see how you carry on. I won't issue any instructions and will remain aloof. You may go anywhere and do as you wish. Would you like that?" After discussion, the mandali consented to carry out Baramji's behests, since he was the appointed manager, and further agreed that he should report anyone's failure in this respect to Baba. Padre, Gustaji, and Jal also agreed, and Baba was satisfied with their decision. In the evening of March 31st, after his return from attending a Bhajan Kirtan music program in Ahmednagar at the railway colony, Baba gathered the mandali near the Duni and explained, "Hafiz has compared the body with a pot, the soul with smoke, and the sanskaras with a huge stone lying on top of the pot. For all its attempts, how can the smoke ever succeed in removing and throwing off the stone? For this, a sage must come and lift it away. Similarly, a bird may keep trying to open a cage which is closed from the outside, but it will never succeed until help is received from outside. In short, those who desire to gain something, even a little benefit, in the spiritual line, must have a chest as strong as iron, so as to withstand severe blows. The worries and troubles of the world are due to thoughts. Thoughts and thoughts. Thinking should be stopped. I am going to take upon myself the thinking of the world, which will severely affect my health. A time will come when I will be so disabled that the mandali will have to feed me and administer water to my lips. All will worry about me, and except for a few, the majority of you will go away." Here's a picture of Baba, beautifully standing in 1927. Looks like Christ figure, doesn't he? A beautiful long...
But I got a question though, Fred. Do you think that every time Baba went through one of these traumatic situations that he was taking on the thinking of the world? Like the car accidents, for example.
Most likely.
It seems as though that's related, doesn't it?
I think so. Well, it's amazing what you just said. Here Baba says something that, in effect, Baba says, "You will see what will happen. My suffering will be so unlimited that others will not be able to bear the sight of it, as it will practically turn me into a corpse. But after this boundless anguish, in horrible pain, and with a wrecked and near lifeless body, I will open my mouth for that one unique cause, and every utterance of mine will be worshipped. My words will be so sacred, even they will work wonders." In other words, just his word will work wonders. I think he was referring to breaking his silence.
Yeah. Now,
he says, "I will open my mouth for that one unique cause, and every utterance of mine will be worshipped. My words will be so sacred, even they will work wonders." Just to read his or hear his words will work wonders.
this is something I was reading last night. Remember I said I was reading some of the things that we come
You stay with God.
in book 3, 76:37, page 76, verse 37. Precious word. A particular name of God. In this word is contained the treasure which is the master's gift to the disciple, and which becomes revealed as the disciple's love for it grows. It must be remembered that, with rare exception, the disciple in the beginning is a mass of loves. He wants truth, but he wants innumerable other wants as well. Devotion to this precious word and to the one who gives it to him gradually centers his heart on one love, which is the ground from which all loves spring. This devotion is the only true religion, and the unconscious appreciation of it is in all men and is behind all singleness of purpose in any field of action. Differences in singleness of devotion being only an object was behind the Master Jami's requirement of an aspirant that he must have wholeheartedly loved before coming to him for guidance. So that word is quite large. Mm-hmm. Because what he's saying is that it combines all the other loves that are in our lives. So I love a house, so I love a car, so I love a woman. All of that comes together in love for the beloved.
All love goes to God.
Exactly.
Whether you love a car or house, it's a small love. The greatest love is when you love Him directly.
On April 3rd, accompanied by the mandali, Meherabad went to Vyankatesh Chinchorakar's house in Ahmednagar. Although Baba had been to his home many times before, this visit was memorable for teaching Chinchokar certain lessons. As soon as he stepped in this house, Baba asked for food, but as it was not ready, he called for tea. The tea was also not ready, and this annoyed Baba, and he stood up to leave. But Chinchokar entreated him to wait a few more minutes, and Baba agreed, but corrected him. Before inviting me, you should have made sure everything was ready.
I learned from Baba.
The women of the house were called, and they sat before Baba. He narrated incidents from Harzat Babajan's life and urged them, "Many women have become saints and masters. Although you are married, still try to intensely long for God." At noon, the food was served, and the guests sat in two distinct rows, one consisting of the Harijans, or the lower class, and the other of Brahmins, Marathas, and Parsis. Baba sat in the front row with the untouchables, but Chinchokar beseeched him to join the second group, the ones with the Brahmins and the Marathas and Parsis. Baba grudgingly accepted, though he was clearly unhappy with the whole arrangement. After the meal, Baba visited an orphanage. He called a blind boy to him. After caressing him lovingly, Baba asked him to sing a song. He sang while the other children joined in. Baba was garlanded, and the manager and orphans of the institution were very happy to have Baba visit them. The group returned to Meherabad in the late afternoon. Besides the delay in serving the food and the separate line for the Harijans, there was another reason behind Baba's displeasure at Chinchokar's house. Chinchokar was having serious financial problems and was very worried. When Baba arrived at his house and began scolding him, he completely forgot his worries in his absorption to arrange everything for the master's comfort, and failed to tell Baba about his financial difficulties. A few hours after Baba's departure, however, the same thoughts again began assailing him. He felt depressed and miserable, feeling no solution to his problems. Here's a picture of this man, Chinchokar. There's a picture of Chinchokar. He was sitting outside his house deep in thought when Vishnu rode up on a bicycle and handed him an envelope. Inside he found a roll of rupee notes, money. Vishnu conveyed that Meher Baba was giving the money to Chinchokar as his prasad of love. His heart wept with love for the master's kindness, but he wondered who had informed Baba about his circumstances, for even his family did not know why he had been in a miserable mood of late. Realizing that no one could have known of his plight, he became convinced of the master's omniscience and mercy. Chinchokar was so overcome with gratitude that he felt he should not accept money from Baba. But Vishnu quickly told him, "I have Baba's orders to return to Meherabad immediately after handing this over to you." Vishnu left and Chinchokar was speechless before Baba's mercy. He had never expected such love and was now granted a new lease on life. Bauji writes prose, "Love is a mystery that is only fathomed in union. To know what is love and to cherish it, the master had to be cruel to reveal his mercy. Love is a gift from the master and reveals him as the beloved. Once a person has truly experienced God's love, the divine beloved can never forget his lover." On April 4th, Ramzan Eid was observed. Ramzan Eid?
Ramzan Eid, it's my birthday.
April 4th, a Muslim festival
Right.
of rejoicing at the end of the month of fasting.
Right.
A holiday atmosphere prevailed in Meherabad. A large number of people came for Baba's darshan, and that evening a contest was held between two poets who exchanged rhymes which they composed extemporaneously. Baba humorously called the event the Bendi competition, B-E-N-D-I. and there's a little bit of a footnote on that. Bindi. Bindi means okra, a food. Baba used that phrase in describing the poetry because of some of the ridiculous usages of words to create rhyme. Baba's younger brother Adi referred to his father as the kindest and most generous man he'd ever known. Well, that's a different footnote.
Yeah.
But anyway, but isn't that funny? Bendi means okra, so they probably were saying strange things just to get something to rhyme. Like, outside I go, inside is snow. Follow me, or something like, just to say something.
Yeah, yeah.
The Harzad Babajan Girls' Schools was established on April 5th at Marathi Patel's compound in Arangon. The Christian woman previously employed in the first school at Meherabad was appointed its teacher. She was still living in Meherabad, staying with the Bomanji family. Following the afternoon inspection of the school, Baba threatened Chanji and Dahaki, "You don't pay proper attention to the school, and now I am going to close it. The children are dirty, and I find many irregularities and discrepancies in how you are running things there." Baba then sent for Afsari, and after reproving him for playing with the children, Baba suddenly decided to make him their supervisor when they were not attending class. Baba's father was greatly loved and admired by all his children. That's Baba Shriyar Mundigar Rani, Meher Baba's father. And that says, Baba's younger brother Adi referred to his father as the kindest and most generous man he had ever known. So that's Shriyar Mundigar Rani. The next night, at Baba's request, Boman narrated the events of the father's 18 years of wandering throughout Persia and India in search of God. Baba remarked afterward, because of Shriyar's untold sufferings to gain spiritual knowledge, and because he was a real pilgrim on the path, a Sufi dervish, I was born as his son. He was the only man, not only in his family, but in the whole world, worthy to be the father of the one who will shake the world to its foundations in the very near future. Baba then concluded, I have severe stomach pain, and last night I could not sleep at all. I'm also having many loose bowel movements. Still my devotees insist I eat. In order to satisfy them, I have to comply and eventually suffer more. During the first week of April, Sarosh Kairani, who had been at Manzali Mim and now was in business in Ahmednagar, came to Meherabad to see Baba, bringing with him his young bride, Vilu. They had been recently married in Pune on March 27th, and this was Vilu's first opportunity to meet the master. During this period, Sarosh and Vilu lived in Kurushu quarters, and on occasion Baba would call them to Meherabad. Sarosh was a firm disciple of the master, and one of the mandali, though he was very much involved in the world. He used to own the Sarosh Cinema, Sarosh Mechanic Auto Works.
Did you meet him?
Yes, I did. I met him in the mid-'70s.
Who?
Sarosh.
Oh,
He used to run the show. You never met him. He died.
alive?
Oh, no.
2 years ago he was sick in the heart.
No. He died in the late 70s. Or actually, he died before that. He died in the middle 70s, like 75. Because I met him, and the next year he died. And he helped me arrange my flight out of India. I was having trouble because of an airline strike, and he got me out of India, okay? So anyway, but here's a picture of, that's Baba's father. Yeah, Merwan Mundigar Irani.
Oh, Mondegar is
Yeah, Maria, Zoroaster, no? Muslim or Zoroaster? Zoroaster. On April 8th, Baba held a meeting with the mandali at 5 o'clock and brought up the possibility of establishing an ashram for boys. He began by stating, "All of you must express your frank opinion on whatever questions I may put to you. Otherwise, you will be born as frogs in your next birth and be devoured by the Chinese as pickles in the Great Chinese War, the likes of which the world has never seen."
Oh, that's great.
He's making some fun. The outcome of the discussion was as follows. An ashram for children was to be opened. At first, it would be housed temporarily in Arangon, in that portion of the family quarters the Shahanis used to occupy. Thereafter, a new building would be constructed for it. By this time, up to 70 children were studying in the school, 15 of whom were staying as boarders. Also strictly imposed by Baba, the children should have no connection with any outsiders beyond the limits of the ashram, including the rest of the mandali who were not directly connected with running the ashram. So we'll end there, and I just want to show, look at Baba with a group of children in the 20s. Isn't that beautiful? So we'll end on page 928, and we'll meet again on January 5th, the first Monday of the new year. Next Monday we're off. So happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year. Avatar, Meherabad, Ki Jai.